Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Milton Rendell and welcome to Real News Friday. Look, another busy week, 869 sales, up about 4%. Stock levels in West Australia at 8,511, which is up 1% on what it previously was a week ago. Still down 21% compared to 12 months ago. So we're still seeing this sort of steadiness around the marketplace of that 8 to 900 sales. I think even if they drop to about 700, it's still at a reasonable level, and that seems to be continuing, and I imagine that will continue to the end of the year. In terms of rentals, 2,539 available in the marketplace, currently down about 1% and still down 23%. So I'm still surprised we're sort of maintaining at those sort of levels, but again, this market, and as it's our whole economy, was something you couldn't have forecasted 2 years ago. So it seems to be chugging on quite well. Rent increases are still filtering through into the marketplace, but I feel that probably in the next 6 to 9 months that'll probably plateau unless we have an influx of population. Now that influx of population will obviously be determined heavily by our Premier as to who he lets into the country, into our state, and who we let into the country. So we'll see where that flows in 2022. Now, someone asked me the other day, what's been the biggest changes in real estate in my 34 years of real estate? And it really scratched my head, and we can talk about values and improvement in area, but I think the thing that probably has driven market change more than anything is lifestyles, change in people's lifestyles. So, and I'd probably say a couple of things which people go, what the are you talking about? But just think about it carefully. So in the last probably 3 to 5 years, we're probably seeing a trend of more single females than we have ever in my career. And I think that gets basically back to a lifestyle decision that's now occurring in the marketplace. If you go back in a time machine to when I was a kid or whatever, to be a single woman or to be a divorced woman or a split family was probably frowned upon or looked down in a different way. Today, it's common. It's just a choice now. The structures of families have changed quite dramatically, probably in the last 30 to 40 years, and particularly in the last 10 years, I've seen more and more. If we go back to probably into the 80s, if you were a female trying to borrow money, it was impossible. Then it changed into the sort of the late 80s that you were able to borrow some money against some of your income. Now it's considered 100%, and the banks look at things completely different. So the options presented to women is far different to what they were 20 years ago. So speaking with an agent in a different area, he was saying that one of the biggest increase in the market, he was closer to the city, was single units being sold to females in their 50s. And this is a trend which seems to have come through part of the market. But also, again, I'll go back to it, people aren't frightened to be single. And the lifestyles that are out there now are completely different to what they were 30, 40 years ago, or even 15 years ago. So we are seeing a lot more of this change in lifestyle. So what it means to change lifestyles means the types of product that we produce in the marketplace have obviously changed. So, you know, if you go back to when I grew up, everyone had a backyard, you could kick the footy, have a test match in your backyard and all the rest of it. Most people aren't having a backyard these days. It's got a very small area, maybe somewhere, just a bit of small entertainment. You look at lifestyle changes again. Once upon a time, you used to call around to each other's house for a cuppa. It wasn't unusual for someone knocking on the door, "G'day, I'll pop in for a cuppa." They don't do that these days. This thing's called cafe strips. It's not uncommon to see people going out for a Sunday coffee or brunch, if you like. That didn't occur 30 years ago as regularly as it does today. It's certainly more a European trend, but it's certainly something that's coming into our marketplace. So if you have a look at the houses themselves that now will be built in the future, I'm sort of looking at it and saying, okay, there's a lot more single people, there's a lot of other couples who choose now not to have children due to lifestyles and all the different bits and pieces. So what we're seeing is probably some of the living space within properties changing quite dramatically. In the 80s we had formal lounges, formal dinings, family rooms and games rooms. Now we're seeing only formal lounge rooms. There's more centralised sort of meals areas, and those trends will slowly change as our lifestyles change. So I think going forward the next 10 to 15 years, as we see this increase of people living alone, we will certainly see a dramatic change in the lifestyles or what's being constructed for the future. Anyway, just sort of a bit of an insight on what I've observed. All the best. In the meantime, check out realestateplus.com.au. Did you like that one?
Yep.
That was
That's
different.
perfect.